On Saturday, May the 11th in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, thug Rose Namajunas defends her strawweight title against Jessica Bate-Estaca Andrade in the main event of UFC 237. The co-main event is one of the GOATs, Anderson the Spider Silva, taking on Jared Cannonier, and beyond that, this fight card's pretty darn good. But this video series is aimed at talking about the top 3 fights that I think you need to watch beyond the main event and co-main event, and this was the easiest I've ever had to look at a card to determine what was the #1 fight to watch beyond the top 2. That is Jose Jr. Scarface Aldo, one of, if not the best fighters to ever compete at 145 pounds, taking on surging contender Alexander Volkanovski. So let's talk about that matchup right now and why you should be excited for it if you aren't already, and then we'll get into the #2 and 3 top fights to watch this weekend in the UFC's octagon. Jose Aldo was the youngest WEC champion in the history of that promotion. He was also the inaugural UFC featherweight champion, where he has the most successful title defenses in divisional history. On top of just being one of the cream of the crop fighters in any division in the history of the UFC, he's also a really exciting fighter. 4 times he was awarded a Fight of the Night bonus, and 5 total times between the WEC and UFC, he was awarded a Performance of the Night bonus. Sure, he lost to Max Holloway in back-to-back fights where he lost his belt and then Max Holloway defended it against him, but since that time, he has gone on to rack up 2 finishes, one in the first round against Jeremy Lil Heathen Stevens, and then a TKO over Renato Moicano early on in the second round, which of course both of those were Performance of the Night worthy. He's a fun stand-up striker that puts a lot of power and almost everything that he's got into some of his shots, like that really huge ripping hook to the body that he got Jeremy Stevens with. This guy should probably be in the co-main event of the evening above Silva versus Cannonier, so how could you avoid putting him on this list when he's outside of those top 2? And his opponent is kind of a younger version of Chad Mendes, who Jose Aldo had a really exciting fight with back in 2014, where he defended the belt at UFC 179. Alexander Volkanovski is coming off a win over Chad Mendes and is a younger version of Mendes with less miles on him. He's really good with takedowns, ground control, and ground and pound from that position, but he's also similar to Mendes in that he has the threat of the takedown and he can come over the top with overhand rights and straight punches that are devastating to his opponents. Like in his fight against Darren the Damage Elkins, he dropped him on 2 separate occasions in the first round with a similar strike to what Khabib Nurmagomedov dropped Conor McGregor with. Volkanovski also sets a frantic pace. He's pretty much got it all, and he's 6-0 in the UFC with 3 of those wins coming via stoppage, the last of which was a Fight of the Night appearance. This guy has been so impressive in his UFC tenure that I thought he should be getting a title shot against Max Blessed Holloway, but because Holloway's foray into the lightweight division, I guess we're having this one happen, and I cannot wait. The amazing takedown defense that Jose Aldo has and the power that he possesses in his hands and with his kicks, paired with the pace, durability, and well-rounded skill set that Volkanovski brings into the cage, this truly is my pick for Fight of the Night. #2, Francisco Masaranduba Trinaldo versus Carlos Diego Ferreira. Francisco Trinaldo came into the UFC as a lauded kickboxer. He's got a background in professional kickboxing, but early on in his UFC career, he was showing off his brown belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. 13 of his 23 victories have come by way of stoppage. The most notable is a TKO over Paul the Irish Dragon Felder in 2016, and then in his last bout, a vicious knee to the body over Evan Dunham. This guy also almost finished Kevin Lee with his very powerful left hand, one with a ripping hook to the body and also with an overhand left that put Kevin Lee on roller skates. Trinaldo puts everything into every strike that he throws, especially his left power shots. Carlos Diego Ferreira is a highly regarded third-degree Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, which he did show off in his UFC debut via rear naked choke over Colton Smith that got himself a Performance of the Night bonus. His next time out, he showed that he's got some striking skills in a Fight of the Night performance where he got TKO victory over Ramsey Nijam. So he has showed us that he's great with his jiu-jitsu, but also developing a very salty striking attack like he showed against Jared Gordon not too long ago, where he dropped Gordon with a wide right hook to short left, and then he went back to the grappling, but he wasn't going for a submission. He tied Jared Gordon's arm behind his back and then proceeded to ground and pound him, similar to something that Nurmagomedov would do. It was highly impressive. His high level of skill in both the striking and grappling departments has allowed him to have really exciting fights against guys like Rustam Tiger Khabilov, who's not known for putting on fight of the night worthy of performances, but the last time out, Fajita showed that dazzling jiu-jitsu and grappling skills by defending a takedown and reversing position against Khabilov with a back-mounted crucifix, and then also in the waning moments of the fight landing a right roundhouse kick to Khabilov's face, which might have put an end to the contest if it would have happened earlier in the bout. These two guys are formidable in all areas of mixed martial arts and always put on fun performances, put them against each other, and you just have to pay attention to it. And number 3, Worley Alves versus Sergio the Panther Maryse. Both of these guys are known for their jiu-jitsu skills, or at least their submissions. Sergio Maryse is a very high-level Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt who submitted Ben Saunders and then showed him how he pulled it off backstage right after the fight. And Worley Alves once put Chaos Colby Covington in a guillotine choke in the first round, and we all thank him so very much for doing that. Both guys have wild striking attacks that are very potent early, come at weird angles, and then tend to fizzle out as they get tired as the fight goes on. We put them in the octagon together, and we're either going to see an early finish, could happen from some wild and crazy kickboxing exchanges, or we're going to see a submission. If that doesn't happen, it's going to be a kind of sloppy welterweight fight, and hey, I'm all for it. Thank you so much for making it to this point in the video. My question this time is, do you think this will be Anderson Silva's last fight? It's happening in his home country. It's a winnable bout for him. He's only a plus 130 underdog at the time of this recording. Do you think this is the last time we see the Spider in the octagon? Please give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you right here on this channel for the post-fight show. Namaste.